Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. Our show today is the United Kingdom News and Culture, episode 146. I'm your host, author DIANN BOEHM. Let's welcome our team members. First, we have the incredibly talented royal photographer, co-host of the Royally Rich Lifestyle, and co-host for the Royal Breaking News from London. And she is also an expert in royal news and a woman in the know about so much more. Please welcome HELENA CHARD.
Hello.
Hi, it's so great to see you.
Diane, good to see you.
Well, HELENA, let's bring out our other team member, the Scottish team member, the fabulous chef, an author, a speaker, a sailor. And HELENA, we need to go sailing with him sometime, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so much more. Please welcome Simon MacDonald.
Hello, everybody. Wednesday again. It's cold here today, and it's been very cold this whole last week. We've had it down about -10 centigrade, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's pretty cold anyway.
I'm just cold by you saying it. But that just means Santa Claus is getting ready, right?
Of course.
I'm
I
quite
have to
sure.
say, I am feeling Christmassy. I don't know about you guys.
Yes, it's been a busy day here as well, so I've had to sort of not think about Christmas for too much other. But Christmas cards are starting to come in, and it's nice to see them. I mean, people now, Christmas cards seem to be all being done on email and so on. It's lovely, but it's not quite the same as actually writing card out, putting an envelope, put a stamp on it, whap it in the letterbox, and there it arrives on the doorstep. And it's such a welcome thing. It's really, really lovely. Let's keep the Christmas card traditions going. So important.
I agree.
Just have to pick and choose a little more carefully, though, because I'd like to send loads out, let's just say 50 or something. But if you times that by the stamps, as we were talking behind the scenes, it all adds up, doesn't it? But yeah, you're right. It's so good to have just that opening the card, even smelling it. You have the whole sensation that I love. But
Yeah, and just to know that people are thinking about you, right?
Yeah,
It is. It's very much more personal than whacking them out on email. But there we go. It's the times we live in, I suppose.
I guess. Though I start to get in the Christmas spirit because I really love Advent. And so we have out our Advent calendar, the calendar, but also our candles. And so I don't know, there's something special about lighting at dinner time, the 2 candles, and this coming Sunday will be the 3rd. And it kind of, I don't know, I think it's special. I don't know how y'all feel, but
I do.
Yeah, that's great. By the time you get to Christmas Day, you're going to have a pretty hot room.
Well, that's good, especially if you're in Scotland or England.
Absolutely. I think it's a good idea. That could catch on, I think.
Is that something y'all do up there as Advent?
No, we've got light bulbs here. We're actually in the 21st century. We flick a switch.
I have to say, I love the twinkles about Christmas and Christmas lights. I just love. It's so pretty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty. And we usually really do a great job in our front yard for Christmas, but we're going to be up in Virginia, so our house doesn't look like we celebrate Christmas.
Oh,
We put up a little bit, but
Yeah.
when we get to Virginia, it'll be glowing.
No Christmas tree then?
No,
Inside?
it'll be up in Virginia because all the kids will be there. So, and now I have it where my youngest daughter is in charge of doing it all.
I think
Yay!
next week I'll post a photograph of my Christmas tree as well. It's it's just it just makes the house feel so warm without having to light a candle a day. You know? It just gives a lovely warmth to it. There's something special and magical about Christmas trees. It just transports you back to the childhood, and you just look and wow, it's just great.
That is so true. We all should write a special poem, do something together.
Open fire.
Oh yes, a fire.
Yes.
Crackling away.
Yes.
Lovely.
Oh, that makes me want to sing. And on that note, Helena, are you ready?
As always. Great stuff. So this is my royal roundup for today. It's been a busy time, but as we've been talking about Christmas cards and everyone loves receiving a Christmas card, I thought I'd start with King Charles and Queen Camilla's Christmas card that's been sent out. So this is their 3rd year of sending cards as King and Queen. And the photograph that's been chosen is just a very casual shot of them in the garden at Buckingham Palace, and it was taken last April, and it's a simple one wishing you a very happy Christmas and New Year, and it's a wonderful photo captured by the lovely Millie Pilkington, always applauding female photographers. And this was taken when the King had returned to public duties following his cancer diagnosis. And I think the palace was saying it reflects the moment life was beginning to return to normality. And I think a lot nicer that relaxed card's been sent out, because the one prior was of them in the throne room. So they had their imperial state crowns on. So Queen Camilla wearing the Queen Mary's crown, and he was wearing the imperial state crown, taken by Hugo Bernard, the great photographer. But this is far nicer, and with 2,700 approximate cards to send out, it normally takes quite a few days to sign the cards. They're sent all around the globe. Also, we spoke briefly about this last week, and obviously this has taken place. So 1,600 attendees and a whole lot of love at Princess Catherine's event. Now, this was the carol concert, the theme being love and empathy. This is Princess Catherine's 4th annual carol service, and it's named Together at Christmas. And it was actually live last Friday at Westminster Abbey. As I said, roughly 1,600 people, guests who were invited, people who contributed to their communities. Princess Catherine is absolutely stunning. She turned up early wearing her Sarah Burton coat. That was the coat for Alexandra McQueen, a vibrant red, double-breasted bespoke coat, just made for her, with a lovely velvet black bow. So she is very much literal dressing, wrapped up like a present, and she's worn it 3 times before. So it looks absolutely beautiful. And although I haven't seen it properly, but she was wearing her tartan skirt by Amelia Wickstead. And it was a really fabulous time. It was really warm. There was musical performances from Paloma Faith and Olivia Dean. There's Gregory Porter. Speeches, one by, I think, Prince William and Richard E. Grant. But I think Princess Kate was relaxed. She was confident, and really lovely to see how well they have such a great connection, Prince William and Princess Catherine. And you'll see how he just sort of touches her elbow, sort of for reassurance. But really, really great. And the whole thing is it's all about love, not fear. And the message, the importance of giving and receiving empathy, and really, even though we're very, very different, we can still show love to everybody. She sent out a lovely letter to everyone that was there, And I just think as well, I was trying to think of all the different things. There was a kindness tree out the front, so really lovely for children to write a little message on their red tags and put them on the tree, and the children absolutely loved it. And for me, the lovely, I think it's the Order of Service they call it, by Charlie Mackesy. He's a great British illustrator here and a writer. He wrote The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse, I think, in 2019, which is absolutely beautiful. But it's a lovely message on the front, which, yeah, really, really, really lovely. This made me laugh. So moving on to Prince William. So did Prince William get a kick out of sitting with his brother's arch enemy? Now, of course, I'm referring to Donald Trump. So in the absence of King Charles, Prince William met with the US president, well, US president to be, I guess, it's January, isn't it, in Paris over the weekend, after they both attended the ceremonial opening or the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral. This was following the devastating fire in 2019. Isn't it amazing to think that it's been done up, rebuilt absolutely perfectly? People are so clever. But it was great to see, I think, Trump and William having a conversation. As Trump said, they had a great conversation for 40 minutes. And he was saying how the guy's a good guy. This guy's a good guy. I think possibly referring to the other guy that's not a good guy. He's a good-looking guy and actually far better looking in person. So there we go. So they were sort of speaking warmly about the special relationship between the two countries. And it just made me think, we're so lucky to have the royal family, because, there was Prince William on this diplomatic trip speaking to Trump and hopefully, building bridges between the incoming Republican government and the UK government. And to think that they were incredibly calm and relaxed, I think is a really good sign. Hopefully, some deals may happen in the future, but we'll have to see. At least we have a sensible diplomatic future king who was there. But I mean, so really, I don't know the answer. Did he get a kick out of it? Possibly, yes. But it was just great that he was there. And I just find it so funny that Donald Trump, he just has this something, doesn't he? I know, and he's not even president. And this whole thing a lot of it was about him. He seems to have this stardust. And the fact that he loves the royal family is an absolute bonus. It's the whole thing about the Queen, wasn't it? And how he wanted the Queen to say that he was the favourite president that she'd ever met. But he basically thinks he is, of course. Anyway, so that was great to see. And I love the photography that went with that. I mean, seeing William and Trump together was great in that sort of very yellow room. And moving on, Prince of Wales, I mean, he has been at so many events, and, we've seen him at millions and millions of Christmas events. So I'm sure he's looking to his own Christmas event. But after having loads of the run up to Christmas, it's probably quite hard in a sense. But it was great to see him. We've seen some lovely imagery of him serving Christmas lunch at the homeless shelter that he so knows so well. He first visited with his late mother, Princess Diana. So he was at the Passage. He was chatting and, hugging people. I think he was actually serving the parsnips and the roast potatoes while chatting to all the volunteers and attendees. And everyone was so excited to see him. It makes such a difference. And I think, obviously, as we know, he was taken there by his mother when he was 10. Roughly 10, and he's never ever forgotten it. He loves visiting, and just to remember, it's a Westminster-based charity providing assistance and friendship, and it helps homeless people secure accommodation. So that's great. And in the recent ITV documentary, Prince William said that his inspiration and guidance, in a sense, came for when he was with Diana, who was the driving force behind his personal commitment to tackle homelessness. So it's a really great cause. And he was at other parties as well, the festive party for the 1st Battalion of the Mercian Regiment. Now that's in Wiltshire. He's colonel-in-chief of that regiment, and he was there chatting to children and passing around Christmas presents. And I think it was there in the barracks that people heard what he was planning for Christmas, which is very much to be in the great outdoors and walking with his family. And apparently he's going to be having Christmas with 45 other family members in Sandringham. So a big family Christmas that's going to take place, which is great. Moving on, what's all this noise about polo? Now, I'd say noise, but it's not so much noise in a sense. I think there's a bit of a clouded, dark cloud around it. So what I'm referring to here is it's a new documentary which is aired on Netflix. This is the 4th output with the streaming giant Netflix, and this is to do with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So this is part of, the 4th production. So yeah, it's part of the multi-million-pound deal. How long that will continue, I don't think so long, but they do make a brief appearance in it. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it is just that it's sort of quite an elite sport, and it's going to show global players on and off the field, showcasing them riding around, etc. Possibly looking very sexy, so that's a good thing. But don't think it's going to break Netflix records. I think Netflix are quite disappointed because they wanted Harry and Meghan to appear in it. But actually, it's sort of a bit, there's a friend of theirs called Nacho, don't know the surname, and it's almost a bit like the Nacho show. He was quite big 20 years ago. There's a little bit of Santa Bale, the charity in there. But I don't think people are going to really relate to it. You really have to. It's sort of multi-millionaire really to be playing it on the whole. But had they have changed it slightly, they could have put more charity in it or followed certain, people maybe from a different class that was sponsored and became polo players. Had a little bit of interest in there, but I don't think it's really been thought through. So I don't think there's a mass appeal. So let's just see. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. I think ending on it, it's sort of supposed to show the grit behind the glamour. I'm not too sure about it. And I think I was going to end on our lovely Princess of Wales, Catherine, again. So she has been put forward as one of the 10 people to have been shortlisted for the 2024 Time magazine's Person of the Year. So this is a prestigious title, and it's I think she's been put forward. One, we know that she's very special, but also she stirred a conversation about privacy and health for public figures in 2024. Every year Time magazine shortlists people who have great concepts. It can actually, it's creating big impact, which can in fact be positive or negative. I know that last year Taylor Swift sort of was the face, but this year other people that have been put forward are Vice President Kamala Harris, podcaster, is it Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, I guess Trump. So wonderful that Princess Catherine has been put forward. And I know a certain person that possibly would be quite sad that she's not been put forward. Anyway, on that, I shall end. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was a lot you covered. That was so fascinating.
Yes, I was intrigued with the photograph of William and Trump. The expression on William's face, as if to say, for goodness sake, get me out of here. It was just priceless.
I think he actually looked quite chuffed. Sort of quite excited in a way.
Oh, Trump was looking very, very smug. William, I just feel, looking at the eyes there, and a slight sort of gritting of the teeth, do I really need to be here?
No, just goes to show he's really on the set. There were so many people there.
Yes.
Invited, and it's just amazing how he's on this central stage now.
Yeah.
All these great people. So, all good. Soft shoes, which we definitely need. We all need at the moment. I keep praying for trade deals, but I don't know.
That's what I was just going to say when you said earlier about building bridges. I'm like, please do some good trade deals.
Yes, that's it. We need to send you plenty of whiskey across the pond there, and of course, plenty of salmon as well.
Yes, you better.
You are our biggest trading partner or customer, so yeah.
So
let's hope he keeps thinking about his Scottish heritage, as his mother was from the Isle of Lewis, from the Outer Hebrides,
right.
which is about as close to America as you can get from the UK. But it's he's got to think of the Scottish heritage there. Just keep the tariffs down if you've actually got to put any on.
I think the tariffs are being used for a stick.
Oh yes.
Things. So, but on another note, when you were speaking, Helena, about Princess Kate, yes, I think she should be honored in that way too. I just wanted to say.
Oh, I think it's we just heard about that, so it's great. No, I'm really excited.
Yes, I think she deserves it. I mean, she really does. I mean, she's carried a lot. And yet, at the same time, she's making every effort to get back onto the treadmill again.
Right.
So, and I just hope she's not pushing herself too much at this stage. She's got to take it easy.
Take it easy, and also while the children are young, it's the most special time. I mean, every time's special, but when they're itty bitties, they're just so adorable.
Yeah,
and they just want cuddles, Even if they're 8 years old, they still want to cuddle, and that's so special as a parent.
Yeah.
Well, moving on. Simon, are we ready?
I am ready whenever you like. Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, let's kick off with a few of our strange but true factoids for this week. So, a mason in the 1700s Jerusalem left his wooden ladder behind after doing some work in a church, and now it can't actually be moved without the agreement and permission of 6 different Christian leaders. I mean, my goodness, that's bureaucracy, which is usually at government level, is going a bit mad in the church there. Anyway, next on. And this is appropriate for the weather we've got over here just now. It's thought by Russians that eating ice cream will keep you warm. Well, whatever you think of that one. In 2005, Connecticut was accidentally issued an emergency alert to evacuate the entire state. Only about 1% of the people actually tried to leave. Safety in numbers. And then, before finally being accepted, J.K. Rowling's original Harry Potter pitch was rejected by 12 publishers. Oh boy, I bet they're kicking themselves now. And then finally, the mayor of a historical district in Alaska is a cat named Stubbs. Mayor Stubbs drinks catnip-laden water from a wine glass every afternoon at a local restaurant. Well, there you are. Believe it if you like, but it is actually true. So that's a definite odd one, that. Yes, look at this cat as the mayor. So I think let's look now at a piece which I've been mulling over about doing for a while. And this is actually quite a close to home one about me. It's very close to where I used to live. And I remember receiving a book called Ships of the 45, referring to the Jacobite Rebellion in 1745. And when I was reading one of the chapters of it, I was looking out over the sea loch in front of me, and the whole story unfolded because the story, and it's a true story, was actually written about this particular naval battle, which took place just outside of my house, and it was quite an eerie experience. So here we go. So it was on the 3rd of May in 1746 that three Royal Navy warships sailed into Loch Nanua near Arisaig and engaged 2 French privateers that had arrived to deliver weapons and money for the Jacobites. The French privateers was Le Bellon, which carried 34 guns and captained by Antoine Roulet, and Le Mars, which carried 32 guns and captained by Claude Laurie, had sailed from Nantes carrying cargo of muskets and ammunition, gunpowder, and money for Charles Edward Stuart's Jacobite army. Charles Edward Stuart, of course, being Bonnyton's Charlie. So on the 3rd of April in 1746, they anchored in Loch Nunua in Arisaig and began to unload the chests of muskets and barrels of powder and ammunition. The French privateers took fire from the parties of Jacobite Highlanders who were on the shore, who believed that the ships were actually Royal Navy vessels, and then mistakenly they suddenly realised that when the ships raised the French flags, whoops, we fired on the wrong ones. Anyway, both captains were unaware of the Jacobite defeat at the Battle of Culloden on the 16th of April, and soon found themselves taking on board Jacobite fugitives, including James Drummond, Duke of Perth, and his brother Lord John Drummond, and David Weems, Lord Elcho, and John Cameron of Lochiel. Upon hearing of the bad situation, they refused to deliver the money ashore, but were forced by threats of violence to hand it over. John Murray of Broughton and Charles Edward Stuart's private secretary took possession of what amounted to £40,000, which is about nearly coming on for $50,000, and had it sent inland to Loch Arkaig. In late April, His Majesty's ship, the Greyhound, carrying 20 guns and commanded by Captain Thomas Noel, had sailed from Belfast to the West Highlands to assist with the anti-Jacobite operations. On the 1st of May, while anchored in Arras Bay off the Isle of Mull, Captain Noel received information about 2 French ships anchored in Loch Nunua. The following morning, Greyhound, accompanied by the Baltimore, carrying 14 guns, captained by Commander Richard Howe, made sail for Arisaig and was joined en route by HMS Terror, carrying 14 guns and commanded by Commander Robert Duff. At daybreak on the 3rd of May, they sailed into Loch Nunua. And shortly after 4 a.m., the engagement began, with Greyhound closing in on Le Mars before delivering a devastating broadside which inflicted numerous casualties. The Greyhound then turned to engage Le Bellon, firing another close-range broadside which caused casualties and badly damaged the vessel's foremast. Le Bellon returned fire on Greyhound as Baltimore and Terror joined the fight. So sailing between Le Mars and Le Bellon, the Baltimore received cannon and small arms fire from both vessels, and Commander Howe took a musket ball in the head. And believing that the captain had been killed, the crew carried him below deck. However, on receiving medical attention from the ship's doctor, he soon showed signs of life. So the musket ball was removed, his wound was bandaged up, and he returned to his post. These guys were pretty tough in those days, and remember, there was no anaesthetic. The wind drove the French vessels to the southern end of the loch, where they cast anchor. The Royal Navy ships stood off and cannonaded them for a few hours before the Greyhound, who had taken on additional crew from Baltimore and Terror, closed with Le Bellon in an attempt to board the vessel. Well, the boarding attempt was repulsed, and Greyhound sailed out of the loch. At around 9 o'clock in the morning, the Greyhound, Baltimore and Terror withdrew from the action after suffering extensive damage to their masts and rigging on account of the French gunners firing high, as was their custom. The French privateers remained masters of the loch, but had suffered severe hull damage and had taken heavier casualties as a result of the Royal Navy gunners firing low into the decks to disable guns and crew. Greyhound, Baltimore and Terror then sailed off to Arras Bay in Mull again to carry out repairs, while Le Mars and Le Bellon carried emergency work to their hull and then set sail for France on the evening of the 3rd of May. Early in the morning of the 6th of May, Greyhound, Baltimore and Terror, having repaired the masts and rigging in the best manner they could, set sail again for Loch Nunua, intending to continue the fight. And they were joined en route by HMS Raven, carrying just 12 guns, captained by Commander Edward Parker, and the Furnace, which carried 8 guns, she was a very small one, and captained by Commander John Ferguson. They arrived there around noon and discovered that the French privateers had sailed off. They then proceeded to sail onto the Isle of Canna, which is one of the small isles not far away, to ascertain the whereabouts of the French ships, and were informed there that they'd passed on the 4th en route to the Isle of Barra and the outer islands. They searched around the coast of Barra and then on to Stornoway and Lewis, where Trump's mother came from, before Captain Noel ordered Baltimore to sail to Dublin for repair work. On the 9th of May, Captain Ferguson of Furness received intelligence that arms and money were being stored in the home of an Archibald MacDonald of Barrow on Loch Nevis. Well, Ferguson sent a party of sailors and Argyllshire militia ashore to burn the house, and then they returned to the ship, having seized 150 muskets. Well, the following day, a shore party from Furness skirmished with a party of MacDonalds at Loch Eilers, good old MacDonalds, and then returned with over 600 muskets and cases of ammunition. Terror and Furness returned then to Loch Nanua, and on the 19th of May, with parties of Argyllshire militia sent ashore to search for arms and ammunition that's been delivered by the French privateers. Around 80 muskets and 20 barrels of gunpowder were found. They burnt the home of Angus MacDonald of Borrowdale, just on the side of the loch, where Charles Edward Stuart had spent his first night on arriving on the mainland on the 25th of July, 1745. Recently, a sizable hoard of musket balls were found after a long search at the ruins of the Borrowdale settlement by the shores of Loch Nanua, which are believed, obviously, to be part of the missing ammunition from the Battle of Loch Nanua. This hoard was found, actually, by my son, Paul. No signs of the missing Jacobite gold, though. There we go. The search goes on.
Wow, so close.
yeah. He comes back with a load of lead balls, and the gold's far more important. £40,000 then. I mean, what would that be worth now? But lots of people have tried searching for it. Did
you say your son?
Yes. Oh, he's very much into the history of being an armourer himself. Then he's very much into the history of these things, and so he set out to try and find it. And there you are, found big hoard of musket balls.
Still, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, nothing to power them out of, but it's quite a collection.
that's just totally amazing. So, what do you have for us on this day?
Well, on this day, let me see. It's what are we now? We're the 11th. Oh, we're the 11th of the 12th. Goodness gracious! So on this day in 1620, the Mayflower Pilgrims came ashore at Plymouth Bay, traditionally thought to be at Plymouth Rock in Massachusetts. And then on this day in 1936, going back to the royal events, King Edward VIII announced on the radio broadcast that he is abdicating the British throne to marry Wallis Simpson. Oh. Then in 1961, on this day, President John F. Kennedy provides US military helicopters and crews to South Vietnam. Well, we know how that one went. And also on this day, Elvis Presley's Blue Hawaii album goes to #1 and stays there for 20 weeks. Bit of a record. Wow. So, birthdays on this day. What have we got here now? 1725, George Mason, the American statesman and founding father, was born in Fairfax County in the colony of Virginia. And then on this day in 1943, John Kerry, U.S. Secretary of State from 2013 to 17, and the 2004 presidential nominee of the Democratic Party, was born in Aurora in Colorado. He's 80 today. Happy birthday, John. Hope you have a good one. 1950, Christina Onassis, the American-born Greek heiress, Aristotle Onassis' daughter, was born in New York City, and she died on the 19th of November, 1988. And Onassis' yacht was named Christina after the daughter. And I've had the privilege of being on that yacht. We went for a cruise around the Greek Isles with a former friend of Aristotle Onassis and so on, an extraordinary character who was a client for me in the fisheries business. Anyway, deaths. Well, in 711, Justinianus II, who was the Emperor of Byzantium, dies aged 42. I don't know what it was that got him, but something did. Then 1971, Morris MacDonald, the American fast food pioneer, died age 69. Wonder if it was something he ate. 2012, Ravi Shankar, the Bengali Brahmin sitar master and Indian classical music composer, and a major influence on the Beatles' music latterly, dies at the age of 92. So there we have on this day for another day.
Wow, fascinating facts.
Amazing.
Yeah, so goodness, Anastas's daughter, if I recall, died pretty young. So that was
yes, she did. She was a big girl. She was well nourished, shall we say? Yes. But I mean, the boat, the Christina. I mean, she's absolutely fabulous. I mean, she was one of the early super yachts of her day, and she was actually originally started out as a warship, as a corvette, and then she was converted into this beautiful super yacht. So I had a very, very comfortable few days cruising around the Greek Isles with my client, and he'd just bought the boat at the time. So that's it. But that's changed hands. I'm not sure who owns her now, but she's still out there sailing.
Yeah, and the Greek Isles are so beautiful. I'm sure that was really hard for you to do.
Oh, it was a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. Yeah.
Well,
there was a lot of champagne to be drunk as well, and somebody had to do that too.
Rough life, I tell you have.
Oh, it's tough at the top. It's even tougher at the bottom. But there we
go. Eventually, Helena and Dr. Jacalyn and I are going to have you cook for us, right, Helena?
Oh, that would be nice.
Yes. Well, just remember, I'm not that McDonald's. I actually, my claim to fame was having faster. Well, my claim to fame was having faster food than the McDonald's outlets, because I supplied Concord, and I mean, twice the speed of sound. You don't get much faster food than that.
Oh, my stars.
I just remembered, just quickly, if we've got a minute, what I was going to say at the end of the last show. Mm-hmm. So we have our Christmas tree, if that's okay. That's every year. It's in Trafalgar Square now. I have to say it's a little flat, I feel. It needs to puff out a bit. But so every year since 1947, a tree is transported from Norway and is delivered to us and popped up. So you can imagine, since 1947, the tradition began on a drunken night out by the creator of James Bond, so Ian Fleming, who was part of the Naval Intelligence. And he was having drinks at a nearby hotel with a Norwegian intelligence person. And he had 2 Christmas trees in the back of his van, one to deliver to someone special Norwegian. And the first tree went up in Trafalgar Square, and ever since then a tree has been felled and delivered, and it's really to recognise the UK's assistance in Norway during the World War II. So we actually saw that it was the Lord Mayor, who's Robert Rigby, who actually went to Oslo and helped fell the tree, and it hasn't really unfurled that much. It's huge, but it's not, what can I say? It sounds a bit ungrateful, doesn't it? But it will look majestic very soon, I'm sure. But it's just quite
that harks back to a piece I did a couple of weeks ago called the Shetland Bus, which was the the wartime service based in the Shetland Isles, using fishing boats to transport agents and covert soldiers and so on in and out of Norway. So that's an interesting piece. I wish I'd known that. I'd have saved the piece till this time of the year, and then we could have linked it in with the Trafalgar Square tree. I bet Ian Fleming wouldn't get that tree in the back of his car now.
Was in the back of his colleague that he was with from the Naval Intelligence. But no, I think it's great, isn't it?
Thank you so much for doing that.
Now as well, what they do, although they used to just fell a tree, they actually do plant one in place of the tree that they fell. But this, because I think this particular tree was about 57 years old.
Wow.
As they grow.
Magnificent, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And as we get ready to close out the show, Helena, do you have any other food for thought for all of us?
really just taking from the Together at Christmas carol service. That's Princess Catherine's, where she says it's time to slow down and reflect on the deeper things that connect us all, and live our lives with open heart, basically. So really so how love is just so important, and to remember everybody all the time, really. And also that the Christmas order of service at her carol concert by the wonderful Charlie Mackesy. It says, how did I help you? You were by my side, which was everything. You know, it's just like a little thing. And it's this beautiful picture of people, the back of people walking off. But again, it's all about helping, isn't it? And that's what we should all really lead our lives by, I think.
That was so beautiful. It just brought tears to my eyes. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Simon.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, there's lots of things I could be saying today, but I would suggest that live life like a tea bag, because you'll never know how strong you are until you get into hot water.
Good one. Like that one.
That's a great one. I love it. And for me, thank you to all our listeners. Thank you, Helena and Simon. This show could not exist without you guys and all your incredible knowledge. And for everyone, as we continue on in the holiday season, faith, joy, love, and hope is just a wonderful thing to always remember, and to share peace and love with everyone and whomever you meet. Have a blessed day. See y'all next week. Bye-bye. Boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, DIANN BOEHM. I'm so happy to have you here today.
DIANN Floyd BOEHM tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at DIANNFloydBOEHM.com. Visit DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. That's DIANNFloydBOEHM.com.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
DIANN Floyd BOEHM's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's Tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com.